Welcome back, everybody. Just got in from the shop here, and I opened up a box from Jeff Weinstock, and there's 3 t-shirts in here and some candy from Pennsylvania. So Jeff, thank you for sending me this stuff. Let's get into today's video. Good morning, everyone. At least it's morning for me here. One thing I got to thinking about last night was I never showed this shaft here. That end is not threaded, so these shafts were not flipped. Another indicator is there is no large pinhole on this end. So these were replaced at one time. I don't know if that is a cat replacement part that was not threaded or if that was a homemade deal. I'm gonna guess that it was probably a homemade deal. I mean, all it is 5 holes and a piece of, I don't know, maybe 1 1/8 inch, 1 1/4 shaft. I haven't measured it yet. But we'll get to it here. We are going to center punch this one, get it drilled, get it tapped, get the puller assembly over here, start working on getting this one out. Over the center mark, we're just going to eyeball center. It doesn't need to be exact. The threaded rod started in here. And I know it looks like it on camera. That drill bit did walk a little bit. We are a little off center. Not as bad as it looks on camera, but it is down a little bit. And we'll bring in this 2-inch sleeve. Back that up with these plates here. Get a little oil on them threads. Throw some washers and nuts on there. We'll get some tension on, and then we'll start cleaning up in here. All right, with that set up just snug down, start moving all this stuff here. Try and get as much of that back as we can. I do have some cotter pins on this side to pull yet. We'll have to clean this shaft, get some oil on there to get it going through that bore. I figured you guys didn't need to watch me sand that down again. I'm pretty sure you got the gist of that when we were doing the last one. I just sprayed everything with brake clean here. We'll let that evaporate off, put some oil on here. Same process as the last one. Start putting some tension on, see if it wants to move. We'll go from there. So real quick, just to touch on a topic that was brought up in a previous video. I was asked if I was worried about heating these castings at all, about hurting the integrity of the steel or the tensile strength in the steel. No, I'm not. The reason being, cast iron takes heat very well. There's a reason they use it, you know, in exhaust manifolds and like wood stoves. Even if you were to repair a crack in cast iron, it's recommended to preheat it anyway. That's just how the welding process is done. So cast iron can take heat. It's just not a concern that I'm worried about at this time. But just to kind of keep you guys updated with what's going on here. If you can see in that hole, yep, you can see there, that pin is moving. I had to get away from the threaded rod. I stretched 2 of them out and I said, we're gonna try something else. So in here, I just have a grade 8 bolt I just put some high pressure grease on the threads to hopefully not pull my threads out of the shaft. And we just stepped down to just the 2 plates with that little sleeve that's welded to that 1 plate. It seems to be moving. We'll keep trying it here. I am out of threads on this grade 8 bolt here. So unfortunately we're gonna go have to go back to that threaded rod. But we moved it. I don't know, that's a 3/8 hole there because it's a 3/8 pin. Right under there, maybe 5/16 of an inch. It is coming out the back. We'll get this switched around, keep pulling on it. Well, this one's definitely been a struggle. I tried setting up that 2-inch pipe with another threaded rod. I just stretched that one again. Future reference, I'll have some grade 8 threaded rod on hand from now on. But just to continue on with this, I did make these shorter sleeves. This one's 1 inch long, so we'll put that in there. Should be enough thread engagement in there to not pull the threads out. New grade 8 bolt. We'll see if we can get it to come out and just keep working it until I get to a point where I can go with that threaded rod, or at least get enough oil in here so we're not dry, because that's what we're fighting right now, is everything's just stiff from sitting in there. Yeah, we'll get this one on. We'll keep pulling. We'll bring you back. You have to know when to accept defeat. That's a grade 8 bolt broke off in there. It quit moving on me, so I cut it there, and I just cut that other side. Or it'll lift this center section out. At least then I'm not trying to pull 2 pieces at once. There's enough material sticking out here I can hopefully get on, or I did leave myself something in here if we wanted to try to go back in with it. Same with where I cut it over here. There's enough material there to grab. I'm not too worried about it. You can't save every single part when a machine's been sitting for this long. And they're just shafts. I mean, they're easily replaceable. So let's get that center out of there. Work on getting these out. Okay, as you can see, both shafts are out of the front there. Move you back just a hair. Both shafts are out of the back. We can take this cover off now. Get a good look of what's actually in there. I know that sneak peek we had was fairly promising. There it is. What we've been working so hard to see. Gear teeth look great. Very, very minor pitting in there, but that looks to be old because it's been shined up after that. I think all this will clean up without any issue. But we need to keep working our way out into these steering clutches. So I'm going to get the vacuum in here. We'll kind of vacuum up some of this slag from the retortion just so we don't get any excess down in here. We'll be going through all this anyway, but there's no need to get stuff like that in there in case I do need to turn this. The next video, I think we'll end up pulling these caps off here and there. We have to go around and pull all of these nuts out. They go all the way around. As you can see, I started these 3 just to see how tight they actually were. Actually weren't too bad. We will need to figure out how we're going to take the brake bands the rest of the way loose, although I was just playing with this earlier. I may be able to just flex them enough. Maybe. We'll see. I think we found why the tracks wouldn't turn. And I'm sure this other one, actually the other one looks better. So ever since we took the engine out, I've had the bell housing here just supported on a jack, just a floor jack. I don't think it could fall down, but it didn't hurt to have a jack here either. But I was just messing around with this real quick, and I'll bring you guys to the back and show you what I found. So since we loosened all the brake components, I'll run up and run that floor jack here, quickly show you how we're going to get all these bolts out. For a quick reference, I had 3 bolts loose on top. Those 3 bolts are 1, 2, and it's now buried down there. So if we start there, we don't even have this really jacked up that high. I think we could maybe get the forklift in here, lift it higher to get all those out. So thanks everyone for following along. If you like what you see, go ahead and throw a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. These two are anxious this morning. They don't like being stuck in the shed. Come here, Finn. Sit, sit, sit. About time. Sit down. Sit. There we go.